Dan Illman, Mike Beer here at beautiful Saratoga, getting set for Belmont Stakes Saturday, and race number 5 on Belmont Saturday is the Grade 3 Poker. We're going a mile on the inner turf. Let's take a peek at this field. $350,000 is the purse, and it's always nice to see the 8-year-old, the number 2 Casa Creed, back into the entries. And he usually runs in the Jiper on Belmont Stakes Saturday, but being up here at Saratoga, 5.5's a little sharp. We know he likes a mile at the Spa.
5.5 is too short for this horse. The mile, especially up here, it's perfect for this horse. He's a multiple Grade 1 winner, Dan, over $2.6 million in earnings. I'll say it, he's underrated.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, because not only is he underrated, I think, from just a talent standpoint, a winner standpoint, he's pretty tactical. You can put him in any spot. I don't see a lot of speed in this race.
I agree with you, Dan. I don't know how this pace is going to play out. The Pace Projector has the one mysterious night up there on the lead. I guess that's possible. We'll see how it all plays out. Either way, Casa Creed not going to be bothered if this pace is fast or if it's slow.
I think talk of the nation, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He almost pulled off an upset first time for Pletcher last time out in the opening verse. I think he'll be right up there when the real racing begins. But let's start things off with Mysterious Knight, who won the Grade 1 Summer Stakes up at Canada, going a one-turn mile as a 2-year-old. Returned to the States for the Hall of Fame at Saratoga last year. Part of the pace that day. Didn't have maybe the cleanest trip. Didn't love the way he ran, though, however.
Yeah, I didn't like that performance either. He had enough trouble in there that if you were a fan of his, that maybe you wanted to be a little bit lenient. And he did come back over the winter out in Dubai, and he had some pretty good form there. He ran some nice races there. I'm still not sure how good this horse is, Dan. I didn't really see him on the lead, but maybe they get aggressive with him. I just thought he was kind of hard to like.
But he's Charlie Appleby, he's Godolphin, he's William Buick, he's 10-1 on the morning line with tactical speed, and a few races that make him very interesting. Casa Creed is the number 2 in here, and Casa Creed ran so well in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Luis Saez gave him a very nice tactical trip. He basically stalked in the two path, made a 3-wide bid in the stretch, tried his best, got beat 3/4 of a mile by some very nice horses. They run him every year overseas to kick off his campaign, usually at distances too short. 3/4 is not too short, but I don't think a straightaway 3/4 is what he wants. And he was beaten by a very sharp horse from Hong Kong in California Spangled.
Yeah, just not really his game over there, but he ran fine. He runs fine every time they send him out there. That's what this horse does. He shows up and he runs well. Again, we already talked about it, Dan. I mean, the mile at Saratoga, it's just really good for him. He's got 2 4-star Daves. He's got a Kelso. He's got a Hall of Fame. Also, by the way, he broke his maiden up here as a 2-year-old on dirt. This horse loves Saratoga. He's really, really good, and he is the horse to beat.
California Spangle ran second in a Group 1 at Hong Kong after that race. The 3rd finisher ran 3rd in a Group 2. The 12th finisher came back to win a listed stakes race in Italy. So a live race last time out, and this is a better distance for him. Carl Spackler has always shown that natural talent, that he might be one of the top horses in Chad Brown's barn. He's now won 3 in a row off his seasonal debut, the opening verse. A race where he was pretty game, but I kind of questioned the competition he was beating. I know the runner-up's a nice horse, but 4 other horses have come back from that race, and in their next starts, none at the board, with the best buyer being an 88 on Synth.
Fair enough to question the competition he beat last time. I still think if you're Chad Brown in particular, you have to like what this horse did in there. He's off the layoff. The pace is really slow in front of him. He's on the outside the entire way. He still closes it down at the end with a big finish. There's another horse who really likes Saratoga. There are no bad races on his card. Listen, if he can keep a campaign going here through the summer and into the fall, there's a chance he's a real breakout horse this year.
His Hall of Fame was really good last year over a good turf course, and we're expecting a little bit of rain here. In many ways, even with Casa Creed in here, this horse could be the one to beat. Ice Chocolate is up next, going out for Mark Cassidy. This horse was no match for Carl Spackler last time out. I've been a little bit disappointed in this horse's form this year, Mike. I know he ran okay in the Canadian turf 3 starts back, but I'm beginning to wonder if he's of this level right now.
I'm worried about it too. I mean, his last race is the one I think that would really make you start to question. I mean, he had enough trouble in the race 2 starts back that I didn't want to be too hard on him for it, but I did want to see him come back in the opening verse last time and show something, and he didn't really show anything. I'm starting to wonder if he's really a graded stakes horse.
One of the long shots in this race is the 5 Front Run the Fed, who just hasn't done anything in his last 4 starts. He hasn't shown much speed. Now, I know 3 of those races were sprinting. Perhaps a distance is too sharp for him, but I question him at a mile against some really good graded stakes types.
Fair to question. He's going to be a very, very big price in this race. I actually felt like it was a good idea for them to sort of try to turn him into a sprinter and see what happens. And it's kind of worked out for them, Dan, but now they're going to stretch him back out in a really tough spot, and he's really hard to like.
Kubrick is interesting for Chad, especially at the 8-1 morning line with Flavian Pratt aboard. This guy won his North American debut at Tampa Bay, and he was supposed to beat that Alaska allowance field, he was better than they were on paper. They really tested him last time out in the Maker's Mark. He caught a very wet turf course. Not sure the course will be as wet here on Saturday. He also caught some very good horses. Reigning Breeders' Cup Mile winner, Master of the Seas, Naval Power, who came back and just missed in the Grade 1 Turf Classic with a 102 buyer. I'm willing to forgive that race. He reverts to the stalking tactics here.
Ultimately, it was just too tough for him last time, and it was interesting that they went forward with him. Maybe they do that again here, and he gets up close to a pace that just maybe isn't that fast. He's a real wild card in here. I know he didn't beat much in the stateside debut at Tampa. I liked the way that he won that race, though.
Talk of the Nation is the number 7, was very solid for Shug McGahee last year, made his first start for the Todd Pletcher barn in the opening verse. He carved out the fractions. Didn't really see much of an excuse. He was fighting back gamely against Carl Spackler after hopping back to his left lead, but I think the best horse won.
I agree. This horse had all the best of it in there. The pace wasn't that fast. He was on the lead and he wasn't taking that much pressure, and he was dead game through the stretch. He just couldn't hold off Carl Spackler. Listen, he was off the layoff last time, so maybe you could say he'll be a little tighter for this. Carlos Spackler was also off the layoff last time. He gunned him down. This horse is pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be able to turn the tables.
Perhaps his best asset is his tactical speed, and he should be in a good position early. But Mike, your points are all well taken. Yes, the layoff could be the one excuse people are pointing to, but Carl Spackler had the same excuse, and he got it done. Lucky Score is up next, and I've always tried to make Lucky Score a nice horse. His Breeders' Cup Mile, all in all, at 50 to 1, he had no chance to win on paper. What a bad race.
No.
Sort of in between horses at the end, steadied a little bit. The Joe Hernandez race, no pace whatsoever. They run 1-2 around the track. This horse just has no speed whatsoever.
Yeah.
What happened last time? They dropped him in an allowance race. He took money against a good horse in Farbridge. He was terrible.
Yeah, he was really bad. He was very disappointing last time. He's also a horse, I think when you start picking his form apart, you really do wonder if more distance is really what he wants, or if he's just a sprinter, Dan. I know that he earned a big figure at the Breeders' Cup, and he was relatively close at the end. That's what's known as sucking up into a big figure, though. He never looks like he was going to win. It's not the only fast race on his card, though.
He has 1 or 2 races on wet turf that make him interesting. Maybe that will move him up a little bit, but he might have to move up a lot against this talented field. Let's take a look at our top picks for the poker in here, Mike. Carl Spackler, maybe the now horse.
Yeah, that's where I'm going in here, Dan. To me, it really was the kind of race where the 2 favorites are really strong, and I didn't want to try to beat them. I went Carl Spackler over Casa Creed. I'm kind of rooting for Casa Creed, though.
I'm not only rooting for Casa Creed, I may bet Casa Creed if he goes off at a solid second choice around 5 to 2. I love his tactical speed. I love the fact that he loves Saratoga, and he just always seems to show up. I think another good performance is coming for him, but it's a nice matchup between the young gun, the young lion, Carl Spackler, and the old guard, the reliable Casa Creed. Good luck.